May I come in, sir?
Yes, come.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Sir.
Have a seat, Akshay.
Thank you, sir.
Akshay is from Rangareddy district
Yes, sir.
of Telangana, and you have done your dual degree in BTech and MTech in Ocean Engineering and Naval Architecture.
Yes, sir.
At the same time, you have done another MTech, that is in Ocean Engineering and from IIT Kharagpur.
Sir, it was a 5-year course, that is BTech and MTech combined. So there's no separate MTech.
It is written separately, Ocean Engineering. So it is basically BTech and MTech.
Yes, sir.
And both are from IIT Kharagpur.
Yes, sir.
All right. And then playing and watching football, singing Bollywood songs.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anthropology is your optional.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, can you tell me that how opposition leader gets assigned in the Lok Sabha?
So there's a quantum of seats which have to come to a particular party, that is around 10% of the Lok Sabha seats. And if that quantum is breached, and then the leader of opposition is assigned from the single largest party. So this is the procedure, sir.
So who is the leader of opposition now?
Sir, presently we do not have a leader of opposition right now because the 10% has not been reached.
But you yourself say if the 10% is not there, then the largest party.
Sir, recently I was reading an article which said that we do not have a leader of opposition.
Okay. All right. I will give you a hypothetical situation, which is a sense of situation, ethical dilemma between right versus right. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So you are the collector. You go to a village to supervise the old age pension scheme. And you find that there is an old lady almost of 80 years of age. And the requirement for that old age pension is that she must be more than 60 years of age, should have a date of birth proof, and also should have place of residence, either Aadhaar card or voter card. She has no such proof. But she appears to be more than almost 80 years of age. Now here, there are two options open before you. One, you can reject her application, which is also right because she does not have the proof. But at the same time, you can also consider some other innovative method so that she gets the pension. What is that innovative methodology you will adopt if you want to follow the second option? First option is easy, most easy option that you reject.
Yes, sir. Sir, I think it is important that we show compassion and empathy here and ensure that she gets the required social protection mechanism. So this can be through various aspects. Firstly, through different NGOs which are working towards this area. And sir, also secondly here, I would like to ensure that she gets the required identification certificates or whatever cards which are required. And I would be very proactive and forthcoming in ensuring that the process of filing the required documents and all is very hassle-free for her, and take the help of something like technology and verification through field level officers and all, so that she can she can have the required benefits.
Okay. So the best course would be that you ask your chief medical officer to depute a team to find out her approximate age, which can easily be found out by the bones or by the teeth and many other features of the person, which will give plus minus 5 years. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So that is one thing. Second is through the local officials team, you can send them for verification to find out whether she has been residing in that village. So that is what that is what is required for a public servant also.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. The Bollywood songs which you are fond of singing, is it some old songs or the new songs?
Sir, I sing both old and new songs wherever I feel comfortable with the lyrics.
So who is your favorite singer?
Sir, I really like Mr. Sonu Nigam because of the kind of variation he has in his songs.
But Sonu Nigam is of late has literally gone into the background. What would be the reasons?
Sir, there can be a lot of reasons attached to it. Firstly, is that a lot of new form of singers are coming up, and the change in a style of music too. For example, we are seeing a lot of rap kind of music and usage of very new kind of instruments.
Sonu Nigam resembles one of the old famous singers of this country. His voice. Who was that singer?
Sir, he imitates. He has voice like Mr. Kishore Kumar. And,
Kishore Kumar.
He tries to sing the songs of the old by resembling their voice. So this is one which I read, sir.
I should think that he was more close to Muhammad Rafi.
Okay, sir. I need to look into it then.
Okay. All right. So, ocean engineering and naval architecture. How do you think it will be useful to you in your civil service?
Sir, I think especially at a time when India has around 7,500 kilometers of coastline and it is trying to strengthen itself in the maritime domain, my technical knowledge can be very well utilized. Firstly, sir, we are moving towards Atmanirbhar Bharat, where we are trying to indigenously produce ship and submarines. So my knowledge can be used here. Secondly, we have a lot of schemes coming up in this area, like the Deep Ocean Mission, the Sagarmala schemes. And my department being very niche kind of a specialization, I can use my technical knowledge here, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So, a very basic question from the ship. What is the plimsoll line?
Sir, it is decided based on the water level which is there, on how much the sink is, how much the ship is in water and how much is above it.
And what is the use?
Sir, it is used to calculate the load line, the amount of weight which is there in the ship is carrying, so that a particular amount of draft, and we can do various calculations related to the horizontal force which wind and all is exerting.
Okay. Now, as far as anthropology is concerned, the major debate has been development versus freedom to the tribals to lead their own way.
Yes,
or live their own way. So in this context, what was Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru's Panchsheel policy as far as the tribals are concerned?
Sir, Panchsheel was brought in as an integrationist policy so that we develop the tribals in the cultural settings of their own. So there are 5 broad principles which it talks about. Firstly is about giving the due recognition to land and rights and the forest rights which are required for them. Secondly, we build a team of their own. For example, in the education and health, we have curriculum which is dedicated to them. We have teachers from their own society. This is one. Thirdly, sir, it talks about judging the amount of money spent, not by the quantum, but by the amount of quality we generate. So this is one aspect related to it.
Outcome, you mean?
Yes, sir, the outcome. And fourthly, sir, it talks about that the policy the development should also be a bottoms-up approach rather than a top-down approach.
Okay. So, there are primitive tribal groups and they have some peculiar problems.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me what are these PVTGs and what are the peculiar problems they face?
Sir, they're called the primary vulnerable tribal groups. There are 75 in number. So they're lacking on certain human development indices. For example, they are very low on education, health, and there is high incidences of IMR and MMR. Secondly, sir, there is declining population or a stagnant population of these numbers. For example, the Sentinelese. And thirdly, sir, also that they live in very geographically isolated areas where administration is not able to reach to a great extent. So these are some of the peculiar features.
Okay. So Element Whisperer, you must have seen the film or that which got the Oscar.
Sir, I haven't seen, but I heard the story of it, sir.
So that tribal group, is it a PVTG?
Sir, I'm not able to recollect the name right now, sir. I'm so sorry.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
You're from Telangana?
Yes, sir.
Did you see the today or yesterday's paper?
Yes, sir.
There is a full page ad of the freebies that Telangana government has offered to its people, which includes 10 lakh rupees grant to every scheduled caste family, which is about 1,77,000 family. 20 lakh grant to a scheduled caste boy who goes and studies abroad. And there are a whole lot of these things.
Yes, sir.
Right? Now my question to you is, this is taxpayers' money. Why shouldn't taxpayer, because their money is running the government, have a greater say in electing the government? Therefore, I'm talking of weightage system in your votes based on the income tax slabs that you pay. What is your view?
Sir, in this, I think I have a different opinion because India talks of being a democratic country, and the importance is of having equal value to every vote, and that is very important. And so, coming to the freebies thing, to the vulnerable section, I would not call it a freebie, but more of a necessity which was required, because there was the SC population was lacking a lot on the economic front and the human development indices. So hence a government was...
See, one is that the governance in 75 years, reservation for first 10 years, obviously failed in its duty. So 75 years later, you still have governance, you have reservation, and now you have all this. And it is not so much as the interest to the people, but as the coming elections 2024. Freebies, you know, in Punjab, freebies in Delhi, and our population seem to vote the governments who promise freebies. In Punjab, they promised freebies, now they don't have money, they are asking money from the center now.
Sir, India definitely has to maintain a right balance between the welfare policies as well as the capitalist principles which it talks about. So firstly, I think we need a definition of freebies so that we can differentiate between
freebies is one aspect.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. The question was, main issue is, why shouldn't I have a greater say because I pay an X amount of, for example, 30% tax slab?
Sir, I think I would like to see it more than just monetary terms because at the end it has to be national development and we growing together.
How long? 75 years it's been. And reservation has only got worse.
Yes, sir, certainly. But we need to work towards reforming the policy of reservation, like so that the real needy and the beneficiary get access to it. So we need political will in this regard, and so that we can have targeted beneficiaries.
Fine. China is now clearly in Russia's camp. They made it very clear. And that affects India in a big way. How does it affect India? And how does it reduce Russia's freedom to act independent of China?
Yes, sir. Can I take some time to think?
Yeah.
Sir, firstly is with relation to the strategic ties which India had with Russia. For example, right now it might be moving closer towards China because it has more economic benefits with China there, so that it can invest in the region. So this is one aspect. Secondly, with respect to cooperation in certain areas like the Arctic areas and with reaping the benefits of the Arctic sea route and other aspects related to it. So China and Russia are certainly moving more strides in this regard. And thirdly, I think I would like to say with respect to the economic ties too, that Russia is looking to diversify its economy and India has to maintain a balance between organizations like Quad on one side and maintaining good ties with Russia at a time when China is also strengthening itself. I think these are the challenges which we can work on.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Akshay, what is Mission Karam Yogi? What are the highlights of this mission?
Sir, it talks about capacity building of young bureaucrats and civil servants. So this is training around 46 lakh of them. It works towards various aspects. Firstly is the IGOT platform, which talks about training in an integrated manner. And secondly, sir, it talks about moving away from a rules-based to roles-based framework. And thirdly, sir, even it talks about very specialized training in the domain which is required, because governance is changing with times and you have newer aspects like cyber security and other related threats. So I think it is very relevant in contemporary times.
Very good. Now, Election Commission has recommended the practice of remote voting.
Yes, sir.
What is the problem in the implementation of this idea?
Sir, there are various problems related to it. Firstly is the logistical challenges which we have, that how many booths we need to put in remote areas. This is one really problematic area. And secondly is related to whether we have to implement the model code of conduct in the remote voting station and all those related aspects. Third is related to the concurrence or the data sharing which can take place on how the remote voting machine will transfer the data to the home booth and how the counting and all will take place. So these are some challenges which we are
Is there
working
no
on.
opposition from the regional parties, regional political parties?
Sir, I'm not aware of the opposition from
There
that.
is a basic. The Prime Minister had given the idea of one nation, one election, same day.
Yes.
What do you think about it? Is it implementable, doable?
Sir, I do think that one nation, one election is a requirement, because we can save a lot on the financial front, and we can not have diversion of people, for example, deployment of army or teachers for conducting the election exercises, and it creates a lot of coherence in the way elections are conducted. But we certainly need to move towards addressing the challenges which are there. That is, firstly, bringing the political will, which states are not willing to come forward to.
Again, the regional parties are opposing it because they say that the national ideas, national agenda will be mixed with the local regional
Yes, sir.
agenda. That
So,
is the problem. So they might lose.
Regional parties are telling that the local issues might be diluted and only national issues might come to the forefront.
Mixed up.
And there's a common trend which has been seen that usually when there are simultaneous elections, people they vote only to the national party more than the regional party.
Yes, correct. Now, last question. What is the impact of urbanization and industrialization on tribal society?
So can I take some time to think?
Yeah.
Sir, we've seen a mixed bag of response in this regard. Sir, firstly, there's a lot of displacement of the tribal people from which has reduced their symbiotic relationship with the forests. Secondly, sir, migration has happened and they have moved towards settlements like in slums where they're not having basic necessities like food, electricity, water or sanitation, which is one of the aspects. And thirdly is with respect to the security too, and a lot of alcohol consumption, and they are being homeless. So this is one of the major aspects related to that. Sir, coming to some of the positive developments which have taken in this regard, they have been given jobs in certain industrial areas around Jharkhand as well as Chhattisgarh, and it has increased their per capita income, and it has ensured that we penetrate education and health facilities so that they are in line with the current developments.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Akshay, briefly tell me what is blue economy?
Yes, ma'am. Blue economy is a very diverse area, ma'am. It covers multiple topics in that or notes of suggestions. Firstly, ma'am, it talks about marine resources. Secondly, it talks about preserving the marine ecosystem so that we move towards principles of sustainability. Thirdly, we talk about the trade, which has to be in line with the contemporary developments like green shipping routes and other aspects. Fourthly is that we conduct activities of human interference like tourism and the livelihood opportunities like fishing and all in a very sustainable way.
All right. Let me put you in a situation where you become a civil servant. You joined your office, but a junior of yours comes to you and tells you that she's been sexually harassed by your boss. What will you do in that situation?
Ma'am, firstly, I would like to talk to her and alleviate her concern so that she can share some things with me. And then, ma'am, it's important that I communicate it to the organization through an ICC which is there. And it is very crucial that a lot of trust has to be maintained in this regard, and she feels very comfortable in sharing
And
her
you're not
views.
worried about any backlash that you might receive?
No, ma'am. It's firstly like about that would not be that would be not a concern for me at all, because it's about being true to what you stand for or your value system, and not bother about things. And I think that was the primary motive why I'm coming to civil services.
You have interest in football.
Yes, ma'am.
Is India part of FIFA?
Ma'am, are you talking about the AIFF, ma'am?
Yes.
Recently, there was a controversy surrounding that, ma'am. But the exact details, is the controversy resolved or no? I need to look into it, ma'am.
All right. Why football is not so popular in India? So many people like to watch it. But you see, we are not as passionate about it as much as we are about cricket. Why do you think that's the case?
Ma'am, I think firstly, there was a lack of development of local leagues. It was confined to few areas
Very
like
good.
Kerala or West Bengal or the Northeast. Secondly, ma'am, I think the funding mechanism too from AIFF has not been very robust in comparison to cricket, like we have BCCI, which is having enormous funds. And thirdly, ma'am, we are lacking on the infrastructural front.
All right. My last question to you would be, your interest is listening to Bollywood songs.
Yes, ma'am.
If you had to dedicate a Bollywood song to Honorable Chairman, which will be that song?
Can I take some time to
Yeah.
think? I think Ye Sham Mastani by Mr.
All
Kishore
right.
Kumar.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, so your mock is over, and we shall take you to the waiting room for a while.
Sure, sir.
And just stay there, we'll call you back for giving the feedback to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Have a seat, Akshay.
Thank you, sir.
Akshay, when is your interview scheduled now?
8th of May, sir.
Okay. So before you go for the interview, take care that you know the significance of 8th May. Whatever that significance may be, just know about that. So Akshay, this is the first time you have got a call?
No, sir. This is my third interview.
So how many marks did you get?
I got 161 and 160, sir.
161 and 160.
Yes, sir.
And this is how many marks this time?
Sir, I just came to Delhi yesterday. So I'm planning to give around 5-6 mocks and go back home. And then I'll come before my interview, sir.
Okay, all right. So Akshay, how do you rate yourself in today's mock? Your own assessment, strengths, weaknesses.
Sir, in polity part, I was a little poor, especially the leader of opposition thing. I think that was a very basic question, which everyone should know. So
Yeah, actually, there was a contradiction,
Yes,
slight
sir.
contradiction which you made.
yes, sir.
Yeah, okay, no problem. Yeah, okay. Anything else?
And not very good. I couldn't answer some questions properly, sir. Like in a very time-bound manner. I extended my answers, so it was not concise. So this is one.
So, Akshay, well, to be true, Akshay, you were extremely good. Your answers were mostly very logical and very, very rational. I could not find faults with any of the answers, none of us. In fact, we all have this impression that you are very sound, in the subjects as well as current affairs. Your answers were quite honest. There was no element of bluff, and everything came out from your heart. Very solid in terms of knowledge as well as the depth of knowledge. Your communication, very good, very, very sound articulation. You speak with authority, with confidence, with clarity. So all these things go right in your favor. And so knowledge and skills both are very good. Even your attitude, positive attitude towards everything, that was well reflected in your answers. So it's not that what you are thinking, your performance was excellent here. Now, just to, I'm not going to talk much about it, except that there are some general principles which in any case you are aware of because you have appeared twice. So the general principles of interview which are to be kept in mind at the back of your mind. One is that the answer should be crisp, to the point,
Yes, sir.
and succinct.
Yes, sir.
It should not come in a very hasty manner. You can take a pause, like you have been taking pause. You have been asking for time, which is a good thing. So take a pause, think about it, prioritize your answers, and then come out with the most logical answers. And second is, try to keep always some examples in support of your answers. Wherever practicable, it may not be possible all time, but wherever it is possible, think of a good example, practical applicability. And third is that in terms of questions which are very, very debatable, contentious, in which a lot of controversy has arisen, there you have to be on tightrope walking. You have to balance your judgment. So it can be, for example, the same-sex marriage or live-in relationships, many other social issues also, and homosexuality. Sedition law again has attracted a lot of criticism, and things related to Article 370 in Jammu and Kashmir and Ayodhya temple. The reservation policy is again an area. Legalizing the prostitution, hijab controversy, and also love jihad controversy.
Yes, sir.
So these are all issues and which are there. Then the issue regarding migration into this country, that also throws up many ethical questions. On one hand, they are after all human beings. On the other hand, they are putting more weight on a lot of burden on our economy. So again, one has to balance. So these are the issues. Even in the case of vaccine diplomacy, there were two opinions divided. Some felt that first of all you should take care of our own country. So nowadays there is a move from globalization to deglobalization. It started with Trump, and when he started saying, and he restricted the H-1B visa for Indians, and he said America first. Similarly, many other European countries also followed. In fact, the European Union started breaking up on this particular issue itself, and Britain went out and so on. So India also had to worry about its own country on many aspects. That is why, and this was precipitated because of Russia-Ukraine war and COVID-19. So there was a lull in the economic activity for almost 2 years, and one had to think about preparing ground for one's own industry, one's own people. So that is again an issue. Then issue of climate change, G20. That again is an important area. And United Nations, whether it is losing its grip in controlling world affairs, why the regional groupings of countries are becoming more important than the United Nations. That again is an aspect, okay? And India's foreign policy, how it has transformed itself over the last 75 years. What are the strong pillars of our foreign policy? And besides that, the issues concerning internal security challenges, so Maoism, extremism, and issues concerning the safety of women and senior citizens in the society, why it suddenly there is a spurt in all such crimes. So in fact, you should prepare on what are the strengths of our democracy, what are the weaknesses of our democracy, what are the safeguards of our democracy, what are the maladies of our system, casteism and regionalism and crimes against women and party, politics, freebies. So these are all issues which are facing. Prepare a list of such things and prepare a good argument on all of them.
Yes, sir.
Whenever there is a disputed issue, always try to bring both the sides before the panel so that they understand that you are able to rationalize any particular issue, because civil servant has to weigh the different options. The public policy cycle, the second step is agenda setting. You have to find out different options which are available to solve a particular problem. So you have to decide, you have to first of all do brainstorming and understand what are the options available. So that is this. Go through the public policy process also. Role of collector, good governance and e-governance and technology, how it is helping solve many issues like corruption and other issues. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Then lastly, constitution. Do read the constitution.
Yes, sir.
And many questions can be really asked from constitution. Economic survey of India would be in another area where you need to prepare yourself how India is now performing, whether the economy has come back on its rail or not, privatization, PPP model and asset monetization pipeline. Why government has to resort to these things, okay? Role of public sector in nation building is another area which is important. The Niti Ayog, go through the Niti Ayog, Reserve Bank of India and also Election Commission of India. It is meeting a lot of criticism nowadays, Election Commission. From the good old days of session, why it has happened. So these are some of the things which people may ask, in terms of questions.
Yes, sir.
The global indicators is another area where SDG, MDG you can prepare.
Yes, sir.
If you happen to have any queries or doubts or questions, you can ask. Your preparation on your subject was excellent, and do prepare on Telangana. Then Andhra Pradesh, after breakup from Andhra Pradesh, how Telangana has improved in terms of the various indicators. Particularly Telangana is known for the IT. So IT hub, and how one of the former erstwhile chief ministers of the Andhra Pradesh was instrumental in bringing about IT to the common people, how it improved the public service delivery. So that's about it. If you have anything to ask.
Sir, I have 2 queries, sir. Sir, firstly, for any controversial topic, can I say the 2 sides first and then give my stand later?
Yeah, this is precisely how you will do.
Okay, sir.
You will give both the sides, or whatever 3 sides or 4 sides, whatever different schools of thoughts are there, then give your opinion if they ask you. In fact, when you give your opinion, try to match it with the opinion given by the central government.
Okay,
don't go against the line of thought which is taken by the central government.
Okay.
Because otherwise it will lead to further complications. Some of the people in the panel may not feel very comfortable, if you criticize the central government. So it is better to follow the central government.
Yes, sir. And one more thing, if there are around 5-6 questions where I need to think and take time, so each of the time I need to ask
you see, you will be asked almost 15 to 20 questions. Okay. So 4 or 5 questions, if you take time, it is perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
I need to ask each time, sir?
It is better. Because otherwise they will move on to the next question. They will think that he does not know. Whereas you are deliberating. So you must take permission from the chairman. Can I take a few seconds?
Okay,
he will
sir.
always give. You can even jot down your thoughts on a piece of paper which is lying in front of you.
Yes,
There
sir.
will always be a paper and pencil.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
So your performance was excellent. We hope that you sail through and get very good marks.
Yes,
and
sir.
become a civil servant.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for such a comprehensive feedback. It was really nice.
All the best to
Yes,
you.
sir.
Our best wishes.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Unacademy. Let's crack it.